Greetings, everybody. This is your boy, Brian Pulido, and today I have a very special guest, the one and only Nick Napalm. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
We're hanging with Brian. This is a program of the Coffin Comics Sworn Club. Have you joined the Sworn Club? Let me tell you what some of the benefits are. If you join the Sworn Club, you get an initial pack full of a bunch of goodies, including a membership card, mini print. What else do we have in there, Nick?
There's a lanyard.
Yeah, there's a lanyard.
There's a I think there's a button.
All kinds of good stuff. And we're actually revising all of it in the new year with a whole new pack. We're entering year 5 of the club. Also, you get a 24-hour advantage on news for everything Coffin Comics, and you get a 1-hour advantage on the great majority of all of our promotions. So this is an informal conversation that turns into a Q&A, lasts a couple of minutes, and I begin it with some ruminations on recent pop culture. So usually kind of that might be of interest to Coffin Comics fiends. So I'm going to start with a controversial opinion, which is I saw the movie Smile 2.
Oh, I have not seen it yet.
So I saw Smile 2, and I wasn't a fan.
Really?
Yeah, I thought Smile 1 was amazing.
Smile 1 was excellent.
You saw it?
Yeah.
What I liked about Smile 1 was that it was just an average Joe. I like when horror is rooted in regular people.
Right.
And I don't want to spoil it for people, but with Smile 2, the main character was kind of like a Lady Gaga-esque figure. And a lot of the escalating horror and stuff had a more theatrical kind of nature. I like horror that's down and dirty, stuff like, The Witch or Hereditary, It Follows, When Evil Lurks, stuff like that. When it gets all flashy, because this woman was like a Lady Gaga figure, so the scale got a little kind of blown out of proportion. Yeah. What have you enjoyed recently in pop culture that you think might have been of interest to fellow sworn members?
Gosh, I actually have been watching a lot lately.
Just all busy.
I need to catch up. I've been busy, but I have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about this much too, but I mean, Francisco Pulido and I are like lifelong Survivor watchers, and we just finished watching Survivor.
Wow, you're still watching that?
Yeah, season 47.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. It's like
season 47.
It's a guilty pleasure show, but I also watch shows like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I mean, why would I miss that? It's just so much fun. All right. Well, anyway, here we are at the end of the year, and December. Coffin Comics is actually going on break starting tomorrow at noon. The online store will be open, but most of us and staff, we're all going to be taken off. So actually just sort of, yeah. However, we're going to be coming back in January 6th, and we're going to be roaring. We start off the new year with, a promotion called New Year's Evil. And then we get right into our own crowdfunding platform called Coffin Launch. So we're at work on all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that, actually. So more to come.
What have you been working on an editorial that you could tease people without like being a spoiler? And if you need to whisper it in my ear, I mean, dude, I think something I could say, but we're not going to show you is Mike Crone just turned in a Lady Gunfighter piece that is one for the ages.
It's insane. He's
over on his Facebook page teasing it a little bit, but man.
Dude, yeah, that's probably one of the best covers we've gotten all year.
Yeah. Now, Mike Crone, man, watch out. Anyway, happy to open up the stage for a convo back and forth. Tegan, Grant, if you see anybody having a question, we're happy to try to answer it.
Nothing so far.
No questions, so we're just you and I looking at each other. So anyway, feel free, folks, to ask some questions. This will be the last one of the year. Let's see some other things. It's so a couple of okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I have the Watcher says I would like to see a Hellwitch special pinup art book of Hellwitch and her past lovers.
Ooh.
Well, okay, that's an interesting idea. I do think we have on display some Hellwitch art book.
Yeah, Hellwitch Risque is like current art book that we have. It's 48 pages of.
Yeah, I don't think it has a ton of interaction with her loved ones, and I can't show it to you anyway. Yeah. But I think there's a couple. Yeah, there's some intimacy going on here and there.
Something to think about. That's pretty good idea.
It's a fun idea.
It's a fun idea.
So, I mean, I will interject this. look, about a week ago, the 28 years later trailer dropped. Now, anyone with a reasonable mind that saw 28 days later in June of 2003, it changed the game. Danny Boyle, Alex Garland, starring Gillian Murphy, did an amazing revision of the zombie apocalypse calling them instead the infected. Now, this trailer is already the second most watched horror trailer of all time. And I don't know about any of you, but I'm super excited to see that movie. Also, one other thing I'll say before I take any questions, if there are any, is the new Superman trailer just dropped today. And I don't care about Superman, but I'll tell you what, Crypto the Wonder Dog was in it, and I am stoked. A thing you may not know about me is, as you know, I love comics, but man, I love all the animals that are supporting characters in comics, and I love Crypto. Superman's dog is so much cooler than Superman.
Great if it was a good movie too.
There
hasn't been a good Superman movie since Superman 2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, dude, and think about it. I mean, yeah, they really just don't get it. I mean, I would say I have faith that James Gunn can do it.
I
have
faith. I'll watch it. I'll still watch it, but I have faith. But the DC,
they had little tiny glimpses of Hawkman, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and as a reader, he was like the kind of outlaw rebel Green Lantern with a shitty attitude. So I'm excited. Yeah, if you have a chance, get over there to YouTube and check it out. So Tegan, I don't know if you saw any questions.
Outcast POV says, I'm curious, if Hope had just let herself burn at the stake, what would she have gone to heaven instead, or still hell because of Satanis's plan for her?
That is a very interesting question. It's one that I actually haven't pondered, but let me sort of run the cycle on that. She wasn't innocent, but she was being burned at the stake. There was some demonic manipulation in the area. I think she would have still been brought to hell against her own wishes. Yeah. And even then, that's an interesting concept. I do believe that since she had that fortitude and the drive, she would still try to, affect the change that she did eventually affect in hell. So I think she would still wind up in hell, even though she was probably supposed to be sent by heaven, just manipulated by demons.
Mike D says, any chance of a Mortem movie in the near future?
Mike D, that would be great. I think, our core competency is we make and publish comic books. We actually take paper, put some ink on it, and staple it. The notion of us taking on personally making a film is probably outside of our bandwidth. But if there are partners out there that could have interest in something like that, that's probably how something like that could come about. So, the easy answer to all those questions, hey, Brian, would you like to see a Lady Death movie or La Muerta, Mike Morg, whatever? The answer is always yes. But, it's the right partner.
Right.
Solomon says, I saw the teaser for the Lady Death game. The cutscene animation of Hope getting burned at the stake was fire.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Those guys,
happy with that.
Yeah, big up to those guys at Art of Play, like turning in some really cool stuff.
Yeah, and even the in-game animations they've been teasing have been really awesome. So
yeah, we wrote that story together in the fall of 2023. So what I can promise is the story is canon. Lady Death will definitely be going to places she's never gone to before, but we think that you'll really enjoy it. The big boss is really cool, and the game will take about 2.5 hours to play at the very least. So expect more to come. I think there's a beta coming up sometime in late spring.
Yes. So if you were one of the beta test backers, you'd get access to that.
Yeah.
Doomsday says, speaking of horror, what horror movie can you suggest for Christmas? Plus, on the subject of animals, any plans for a pony death book?
I'm not against the idea of doing a pony death book.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would be kind of fun. I know we've teased it around. There's all these cool things. I would like it, and I know people are interested in it.
I'm pretty sure nobody loves pony death more than Melody.
Yeah, Pony Death has her dedicated fiend base. All right, the first question was some recommended films around horror. So I don't know if you're requiring a Christmas theme. That's not necessarily my area of expertise, but I'm going to rifle off a list of horror films you absolutely should see. So here we go. Try to see the following: It Follows, The Witch, Hereditary, When Evil Lurks, Talk to Me, First Smile, and She Dies Tomorrow. Any of those they're good horror films. Yeah, they're all good horror films. They've been my favorites in like the last 10 years. Talk to Me was really good, especially for a studio produced film. But I think it was made independently in Australia and then picked up for wider distribution. Did you see that?
Yeah. I think that was the case. I got picked up. Yeah.
I was authentically, Fran was out of town, so I was visiting family, and I authentically was afraid watching that movie.
Well, those are the best kinds of horror movies.
Yeah.
Like
That's what you
they're
want.
supposed to scare you.
Yeah, they're supposed to. That's the thing you
Yeah.
want. It's like trying to recreate that experience you have as a kid.
Exactly.
Grim Collects says, are there any plans on releasing a year-long schedule for in-person events at the Coffin compound so people can make plans way ahead of time?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, that's an interesting request. So their request is for all of our in-persons so that people can make long-term plans. I'll tell you what, I think we could probably go further because we do know in 2025 what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we should and we could.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take a note about
I
that.
should take that on. It wouldn't be too hard to do.
Yeah, because we know what they're going to be. Yeah.
All right. Substitute Archangel says, do you submit your own comics for grading, and how do you get the custom signature labels?
Yeah, so we do. Coffin Comics does submit our own books for labeling, and we have the exclusive use of those labels.
Yeah, unfortunately it's only available to us.
You know, can I be real with you for a minute? Like for a period of time there, we did do grading for folks, and we did an income and expense analysis of it. And we learned that for what we charged and the effort that we put in over the course of time, and several thousand books, that it simply wasn't worth Coffin Comics' while to do it. I'm just being straight with you. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the effort was humongous.
Yeah.
And then so I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and then there were times, especially during COVID, where like sometimes you would submit to CGC and you wouldn't see stuff back for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Isaiah asks, what are the influences for your new comic Deadly Trio?
So the new influences for the comic Deadly Trio, I think each creator might have a different feeling. I think Bill Tucci said that he was looking at, for his character Rianne, he was actually looking at the Barbarella.
Yeah.
In my case, I loved the setting of doing a cosmic story, and I was kind of thinking of the 1970s Jim Starlin Warlock in Captain Marvel. The setting, the characters, the stakes were very, very high in those storylines because they introduced Thanos.
Yeah.
You call him Thanos if you want him. He's Thanos to me. Thanos to me. And so for me, that's kind of what I was thinking of. And I guess if you ask Jimmy and Amanda, they might have a whole different feeling. But Jimmy and I definitely commiserated on the whole 70s Jim Starlin stuff because, in our formative years growing up reading, I'm reading Jim Starlin's Warlock and Captain Marvel as a 13-year-old. And that's some heady stuff. It's got a lot of serious, Catholicism in it and, commentary on that. As a 13-year-old, it still just blew my mind.
David asks what your convention plans are for next year.
David, my convention plans for next year will be announced next year. We're doing a couple of company conventions. I call them Coffin Comics conventions. So we can say that we're doing Phoenix Fan Fusion. Yeah. It's our local con. We can also say that we're doing Comic-Con International. And we could also say that we're doing Tucson Comic-Con, which is the convention that we own. I am a guest at Still Ill Con in the Michigan area, led by Dan and Knight Mendoza, and that is a single day con. And May 3rd. And there are 2 other appearances, but I don't get to announce them. The convention gets to announce them. But major markets, cool stuff.
All right, one more from Doomsday. He says, "Thanks you for the recommendations. What is your album of the year?"
Oh my Lord. Okay, so Brian's album of the year. It's difficult, right? Because now I'm not buying new music. I'm listening to it on Amazon Music.
Yeah.
I'm discovering it that way. And I'm discovering a lot of music just by watching music videos on YouTube. However, if you're asking me my favorite song of the last year, the one I keep coming back to and playing again, there is a band called Three Teeth. They're an industrial metal band out of Los Angeles. And they have a song called Drift, which is just slays me. I probably listened to it 200 times. There's a song called, what's it called? That new song by Knocked Loose and Poppy, Sacrifice. I like that one. But, I'm just zipping around all different genres right now and just enjoying stuff. So I haven't been enjoying stuff in an album format as much as I had maybe in the past. Yeah.
All right. Outcast POV asks, "Was Hellwitch inspired by Purgatory?"
Hellwitch was inspired specifically by the notion that if Lady Death represents cold, I need a contrasting character that represents hot. So Lady Death is very angry, but simmering and very cold in her emotions. And it, in part, is from where she's originally from, Eastern Europe. So I feel to have a character that contrasts her as an archenemy is good. So that's a character that's very emotional, very physical, very angry. And so it began to grow out of that
she's
need.
a lot more extroverted with her anger.
Yeah, all that, really. She's very over the top. Lady Death is like simmering. So it grows out of the need for that contrast.
Stolen Zombie asks,
Stolen Zombie.
"Brian, what year do you think classic rock ends?"
Oh, okay. I think
I think that's evolving, actually, because
I don't know, dude.
what's funny.
I'm ready to throw down on that.
I was listening to a classic rock station on one of those, music channels, at my mom's house, and Metallica was straight up in the classic rock station.
I think classic rock ends when Zeppelin puts out In Through the Outdoor.
I would agree with that.
Okay, you agree with me on certain things. Like that, to me, that it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know. It's funny because they'll call, like you said, they'll put Nirvana on and call it classic rock.
But then you think of it, and it's like the Nevermind came out over 30 years ago.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So
no, but I don't subscribe to that because I still don't put Metallica or Nirvana in the category of classic rock.
Right.
Classic rock was that radio stuff we listened to in the 70s. Boston, Kansas, Styx, Aerosmith.
I would say 60s, 70s would be the classic rock era.
Yeah. Okay. I buy into that. So that's it. You could take that to the bank. Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor, which was, a piecemeal album pulled up of extras and stuff. To me, that was the end. That was the end of classic rock era.
Yeah.
Matt asks, "What is a go-to Christmas movie for Nick and Brian?"
Die Hard. That's a Christmas movie, guys.
March of the Wooden Soldiers, aka Babes in Toyland.
Babes in Toyland.
It has Laurel and Hardy in it,
Yep.
and they face up against literally the boogeymen, and they enlist the wooden soldiers. Man, if you haven't seen that movie in a while, do yourself a favor because it's funny and kind of insane. All the wooden soldiers to me are like precursors to the Terminator. There's even a shot when these, life-size wooden soldiers, one walks through a door, his head comes off, and he keeps walking. So I watch Babes in Toyland. I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh or am I supposed to be horrified. I love it. That's Christmas to me. Well, I think we have time for about one more before we close it up here at Coffin Comics. So what do you got?
Let's see, a good one here.
We're all waited with bated breath here. I'm surprised you agreed with me on that classic rock like end
kinda-
game. But as soon as that question
I
happened,
kind
I'm
of
like,
do. It makes sense. Yeah.
well, I remember when it happened too. It was like, damn, okay, that's the end of Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Stolen Zombie asks, what do you think a Lady Death and Hellboy team up would look like?
Stolen Zombie. A team up between Lady Death and Hellboy would make perfect sense. Because take a look at the different characterizations. You have a bruiser like Hellboy who is still a detective, and you have a Lady Death who's a character who seems to try to always solve problems by striking her sword. I think it'd be kind of a hoot. But speaking of team ups, let me totally vague post you right now. I just finished up an initial convo with a major publisher, and after years of teasing it back and forth, we are going to get together on a crossover for 2026. Can't tell you anything more about it, but this is what I can say. This has been Hanging with Brian and Nick G. And this has been Hanging with Brian and
Nick Napalm.
Nick Napalm. Want to wish you and yours a very, very happy holiday season. We hope it's safe. We hope all your dreams and wishes come true. You're going to see a little less of us over the course of the next couple of weeks, but we'll be thinking about you.
Yep.
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.